Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, and today I'm going to show you how to make not one, but two cards from our July to December 2021 mini catalog. Whew, that's a mouthful. So the card that I'm going to be making today, so the first one, it is a fast, simple card found on page 11 of the mini catalog. And then once we make that one, I'm going to go ahead and make this one. I'm not making it a package as it's shown in the catalog. I am going to convert it into a card though. And I think the only other change that I'm making is that I do not have this awesome ribbon. Why don't I have this ribbon? Like, I know I've seen it, but I don't really remember seeing it. But isn't that cool? So that is in this catalog. I flipped to the back and found it on page 74. It's real red ruffled ribbon, and it's 3/8 of an inch. Where has it been? How did I miss seeing this? So instead of using that ribbon, I'm going to use my double stitched satin real red ribbon from the annual catalog. It works. It'll be great. It's just not ruffled and the texture is different, but that's okay. Still be pretty, and it'll still coordinate because coordination is key. And I love that so many, pretty much everything about Stampin' Up! Coordinates so easily. Okay, so before we stamp, I do want to remind you that right now is, oh, I don't remember what they're calling it. So it's the promotion where you can build your starter kit in the US for only $75. So for $75, you get to pick $125 worth of product to put in your starter kit from the catalog, and you also get free shipping, and you'll also get a paper pumpkin kit, not the current kit, which looks like it's going to be pretty stinking cute, but you will get a paper pumpkin kit so you can try it out. It's a great deal. If you've ever thought about signing up with Stampin' Up, now is a great time. And if you just have a long wish list that you want to get at a cheaper price, now is the time. This would be a fantastic time to do that. Okay, so enough talking. Let's start stamping. I'm going to move this out of the way. So today I'm using two ink colors. I'm using soft suede and real red. So I showed those to you a little backwards, but that's what we're using. And I'm going to use the Stamparatus to stamp. I'm also going to be using watercolor pencils to color, and I've got a couple of different things to show you today. It's going to be such fun. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put my cardstock on here, and this is 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. And then I'm going to get this pie plate or cake plate, and I'm going to get this cake. So I am going to be using both of my plates for my Stamparatus. I'm going to be starting by putting this little guy down here near the bottom, kind of centered up. Just trying to get it somewhat straight. I'm going to use my bone folder and cheat a little bit. So these photopolymer stamps are kind of sticky. So I just like to use that bone folder to keep my cardstock from moving. Just going to ink that up. And when I am putting my plate down, I always pull out, or if I'm doing the top one, I pull down so that if I need to stamp again, then I can make sure I get it in the exact same spot. If I'm trying to get something really dark or or if I stamp in one color and then I want to stamp it again in the exact same place, another color. Can you see the top of my head? I'm hoping not. So I'm trying to center this on the cake plate, and I'm also trying to get the cake to where it's just sitting on the base, but not, I don't want it to hover, but I also don't really want it to overlap. So looks pretty good. I think it moved a little, but we should be okay. I'm going to close this red. I'm going to open up soft suede and ink that cake. And like I said, I'm going to pull down. And I almost didn't leave enough room. Look how close that is to the top. Whoopsie. But it's okay. It's not terrible. So while I have everything out, I'm going to go ahead and use my red again. And I'm going to grab Bring On Christmas. So who out there is ready for Christmas? I can assure you, I am not ready for Christmas. I have not, well, I have a little bit started Christmas shopping, but I'm nowhere near finished. Plus, I would really like to have Thanksgiving first. I don't know about you, but I like to do Thanksgiving, and then after Thanksgiving, that's when we start getting out our Christmas decorations and we decorate and do all those things. Okay, so I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to pull this back and I'm going to get out my watercolor pencils. And I'm not going to use these as watercolor pencils. I'm just using them like colored pencils. I don't want pink. There's my real red. Whew. For just a second, I thought I'd lost it. So I'm just going to color over the ink plate, the cake plate, cake stand. I'm not great at all of the baking and cooking, knowing what everything is. I try, but there are so many terms I just don't know. So do y'all know what today is in Stampin' Up world? It is the first full day of Onstage. So Onstage started last night. And it's continuing today and tomorrow. It's kind of a bummer that we don't get to meet in person, but it's also very exciting that we get to have it online. So it doesn't matter where you live. If you're a demonstrator, you get to attend Onstage, which I love being able to not have to worry about finding somebody to take care of our animals or worrying about what to pack or where to stay. My family just keeps doing what they're doing, and I get to sit up here in my craft room and craft and watch people get awards and learn things, and it's lots of fun. Although I was up here by myself today, or not today, last night, watching the awards and some different things happening on stage, and I found myself talking to my computer screen. So maybe I need someone here to watch it with me so that I'm not talking to the screen by myself. Although it could be because I spend so much time recording these videos, I feel like I need to talk whenever I'm in front of my computer. Who knows? Okay, so the green that I used is Old Olive, and now I'm using Early Espresso. So when you're using these watercolors, you can also go over everything with a blender pen. In fact, I may go ahead and do that because it just blends it together really nicely. And then I can show you how to do it. But you could also use an aqua painter. I don't recommend the aqua painter on just regular cardstock. This is just plain basic white cardstock. So I don't really recommend the aqua painter for this because it'll get real wet and it might start tearing up your paper. The blender pen is okay as long as you don't go too crazy with it. You don't want to get it like super wet on your page. So it looks like it's stained. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, there's the camera. So it looks like it's stained, but there's no ink on there. So I'm just going to go over and can you see there? Can you see how that blended so nice? Definitely going to be using this. And then to get the paint out or the ink off, you just rub it off on your scrap paper and switch colors. And these suckers last forever. So this set is, I don't know, maybe a year old or so. But the last set that I had lasted over a decade. I had it forever. Should have done this green when I did the green on the top. Whoops. Yes, that is very pretty. So this is a step I do not believe they did in the catalog. It doesn't say anything about blender pens in the recipe for this card, but I just think it's a nice touch. Makes it look a little bit more finished. Okay, and that's it for coloring this part of the card. So now I'm going to get my liquid glue because everybody knows how much I love my liquid glue. I'm going to use it to attach this piece to this slightly larger 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch piece of Blushing Bride. There we go. And then I'm going to use dimensionals to attach both of these pieces to the front of the card. So see, this card is not taking hardly any time at all, and it would have taken even less had I not decided to get out the blender pens. So I'm just going to center it. That looks pretty good. And then the sentiment that I stamped, I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm just going to cut around it. I try to always keep my scraps not too little. I try not to, if it's under 2 inches, I don't keep it. But I do keep a lot of small pieces because you just never know when you're going to need it to add a little something like this. Okay, so for this piece, I think I'm just going to glue it straight on the card. And I'm not even going to worry. Sometimes I put a little mini dimensional on one end, but I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to let it hang off a little bit. And that's it. That is the front of our card. For the inside, I'm gonna add the cake again. Should we leave it there? I feel like no. So I'm gonna lift it, move it down. I'm gonna go with right there. I'm gonna scooch it up a little bit. I would rather hang off the bottom than just be floating in the air. There we go. And then I'm gonna color everything again very quickly. And I'm going even lighter on the inside. So do you eat, I think this is a fruit cake. A fruit cake? Is that what they're called? What is your favorite kind of cake for, or your favorite dessert for the holidays? Mine is pecan pie. Cookies are my favorite year round. And we make some, oh my goodness, my daughter, I think I've talked about them before. My daughter makes these dark chocolate Andes Mints cookies. Wow, they're phenomenal. And she makes them mostly at Christmas time. So yeah, that would probably be my favorite. But then my great grandmother, she always made, I think we called them wedding cookies or snowballs. I can't remember what they were called, but they were dipped in, they were round and they were dipped in, or rolled in powdered sugar. Oh my goodness. So yummy. I just did green already, didn't I? So you absolutely do not have to go over everything with the blender pens. That is just a fun thing that I like to do, but you may not like to color at all. So definitely not required, like I said before. There we go. And I may later grab another stamp set and add something Christmassy on the inside to this as well. I'm gonna grab that liquid glue again, and look at that, I don't have a lid on this. Where did my lid go? Oh, it's in there, it just didn't come out. Interesting. Must not have screwed it on earlier. Okay, so card number 1. I got a little carried away adding stuff to that one. Card number 2. So I'm going to get that pie out. And I'm going to put it on a Stampin' block to start with. Before I do that though, I'm going to... Oh, it's a miracle. I almost put all this cardstock for this next card on this inked up stamp. That would have not been good. Is that squeaky coming across the microphone? So this is my chamois. And it works great for cleaning these stamps. I use it all the time when I use my Stamparatus especially. But really I use it on a daily basis. Photopolymer stamps are great because you can just run them under the faucet at the sink. But to really get them clean, these chamois are phenomenal. And handy to keep at your desk. so that you don't have to keep getting up to go to the sink. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is ink up this pie with that soft suede ink. And I'm going to just randomly stamp pie all over this card. And right there. The last one for some reason was a difficult decision, huh? Okay, so that piece of paper it's craft paper. It's from the mini catalog and it's amazing. It's really thick. It comes in 6x6 sheets. And it's going to be the card front. I cut it to 5 3/8 by 4 1/4. And I'm gonna, I have a Blushing Bride card base. So the colors that I'm using this time are Blushing Bride, Mint Macaron, and Basic White, and the craft again. And then the ink is Soft Suede and Real Red. And again, I'm just going to be using the watercolor pencils, and I will most likely go ahead and use those blender pens again just because I like them. Okay, so this piece of basic white cardstock isn't where I thought it was. Found it. So this piece of basic white cardstock is 3.5 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to start by using my magnet and holding it down. Okay, I'm going to use both my magnets. Did you see me jump? I don't know if you could see that, but I did. I jumped. So the catalog says that they used seasonal label dies on this part, but I don't have that die. So I looked through my dies and I found this one. So I'm just going to lay this across the bottom here, and that's going to give me an idea of where I want to put my pie plate. So I'm going to put my pie plate or cake dish. Cake stand. That's what it's called. It's called a cake stand. Knew I'd get there eventually. So I'm going to put the cake stand right on top of that. Maybe even a little higher. That should leave me room. There, it kept sticking to me. That should leave me room for the actual cake in a minute. But this one, I'm going to put a cake and a pie on it. So that'll be fun. There's another technique for you because I'm going to have to mask the pie to stamp the cake over it. So I'm pulling my plate out. There we go. I'm going to take that off and get it out of my way so I don't accidentally set something on it. Then I'm going to oh so very carefully stamp my pie on this plate. And I bet my head is like right in everything this time. Sorry about that, y'all. Let's see, is it floating? Ooh, look at that, it's pretty perfect. So earlier today, I stamped a pie on a piece of Post-it note. And then I fussy cut around it. And I went just barely inside the lines as I was fussy cutting. And now as I lay it down, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm putting it right inside the stamped area. Because if you don't, there'll be kind of like a halo when you stamp the cake. So you want to want to give it room. It doesn't have to be perfect because the cake isn't covering the whole thing, just a little part of it. So I need to move this. Good thing I cleaned it earlier. And I'm going to move, actually it doesn't matter that that moved because I'm through stamping the other thing. Okay, so pardon me if my head gets in your way again. Okay, I think that looks good. So I'm going to pick that up with this plate. I'm going to ink it up with that soft suede. And then we'll pull the mask off. And perfection. Look at how good that, I'm going to hold it up so you can see. So that's how you do masking really well. I am very impressed by how well that turned out, because I'm not going to lie, sometimes I get it off a little bit. But I'm getting better. It's just one of those things. It takes a little bit of practice. And then it's perfect. Okay, so I'm using the same colors that I did on the front. Old Olive, Real Red, and Early Espresso. I'm just going to put some color on here quickly. And then I'm going to go over with the blends. And then we'll finish putting it together. I can move my magnets now. This is a great card. You can, of course, change any of the colors around. So if you don't have these colors, you can change it to something different. If you don't want it to be Christmassy, you could change it to something different. I don't know what color you would make your fruit, though, in the cake. Maybe you could pretend like they're chocolate chunks instead of fruit. I don't know. But you could also use, we have so many greens. I don't know if you saw my video yesterday talking about all the different greens, and I realized later I left out another green. We have soft sea foam. That's a green, and I didn't have it in my list. Such a shame. So we have plenty of greens to choose from. It's several pinks and quite a few reds. Okay, so the card and the catalog, they use this brown, this Early Espresso, to color every part of this pie, including the pie dish. But I think I want my pie dish to be green. Is that weird if I just do it really lightly? Just to add a little bit of color instead of just having it all brown, because I don't know about you, but my pie dishes do not match my pies. They're different colors. Some are white, some are, well, I guess some are clear, so kind of that would match your pie, I guess, if it was clear. Some are metal, aluminum. So when I'm using these blender pens, I don't know if you've noticed, but I am doing, well, I forgot with the green, with the Old Olive, but I'm trying to do all of the same color all at once, and then that way I don't have to switch colors so often. But I forgot to do that with the old olive, so I'll have to go back and do the leaves and the little old olive bits in the cake again. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get that real red, and I'm going to get that Blushing Bride scrap again, and I'm gonna go ahead and stamp Bring On Christmas, and this time I'm gonna do it long ways. Okay, let the fun begin. I'm gonna start putting it all together. So first things first, I'm just gonna use my liquid glue that I still haven't put the lid on. To attach this craft piece to my Blushing Bride card base. Okay, now I'm going to use, oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to use that die cut to cut the scalloped edge off the bottom. So this is from Scalloped Contour Dies. I'll show you what the rest looks like. So it looks like this. And I'm using this long edge piece. And I am going to use washi tape just to hold the edges of this down so it's not moving around when I'm running it through. Because it is on the very edge. Like, I couldn't have made this card or this cardstock any wider and had it fit through here. So it's pretty tight, and I want to make sure it's where it needs to be. Really probably should have grabbed my larger stamp cut and emboss machine, but I like this little one for videos. And there we have it. So just a little something different. So now I'm going to put this on here straight. And then I'm going to put it on this one crooked. I'm just going to use liquid glue again. That looks good. And then got that double stitched satin ribbon. And I'm just going to tie a bow. So you could put your ribbon all the way around, you could put it all the way around the craft piece and then use Stampin' Dimensionals to put that on your card base. Or you could put it just over the Blushing Bride and, you know, this section, the Mint Macaron, the Blushing Bride, and the Basic White that you stamped on. And then use Stampin' Dimensionals. But I didn't want to add more thickness because when you tie bows, it's already pretty thick, and I didn't want to have to add those dimensionals too because I wanted it to be mailable. So I'm going to use glue dot, just one glue dot right behind the knot. And there we go. Gonna poof it up a little. Then this one, I think I'm gonna stamp another pie on the inside. Color it very quickly. And there you have it. There's the pie. Grab that liquid glue again. And I'll go ahead and place that inside. Too cute. So another great card from the catalog times 2. So I hope you enjoyed these. As always, if there is a card from one of our catalogs that you would like to see made, let me know. Leave me a comment or send me a message and I'll do my best to make it for you. And so part of being a demonstrator and part of getting to go to on stage is we get to see the new catalogs early. So I'm so excited. I was able to download the PDF for the new mini catalog that'll be coming out in January and the celebration brochure that's coming out in January. So I've already just really quickly flipped through those or scrolled through those because they're only digital right now. And I'm already seeing some things that I want to be making on my Friday card from the catalog video. I can't wait to be able to share all that with you. But not yet. Gonna have to wait a little bit longer. So I hope that you have a fabulous weekend, that you get to spend some time creating, and that you get to spend some time with some loved ones and spend time in the sunshine. That's one of my favorite things. Okay, well, let me know if I can help you with anything pertaining to Stampin' Up. Happy stamping. Bye.